Here we go, here we go, here we go. Welcome, everyone. Let's get this ball rolling. Looks like Twitch, you are getting online right now. And let's check you over here on YouTube. YouTube. What's going on? Okay, you're on. We're good. Okay, let's make it happen. We're back at running this darn Powards. Here we go. It's gonna be scary as always. Now we have a lot of fun actually. All right, what do we want to do? Where are we at here? We've got so much going on. Don't think we're ready for that yet. We probably should have gone to a different area, is what I'm thinking. Okay, so we got a lot of cold dropping. Oh, see? See how much damage that thing did to me? Jeez. Holy smokes. It's pounding on me, isn't it? We made some changes. Again. I don't always know if they're good changes or not, but we did make changes. So it's going to be non-stop bombardments of this cold. I'm not enjoying it at all. Looks like we got to go this way. Let's go get it. It's hurting me bad. Actually, can I go this way? No. It's going to loop around. All right. We need to go get it taken care of because it's doing a lot of damage to me. Got to remember to fire and move because it hones in on the last place I fired. So it's throwing, looks like poison there. is it right here that's doing it all. There might be another one. We'll find out here in a minute. Oh, that was it. Alright, so that is it. Okay, we're good. What's up, Gabby? Good to see you. Good to see you. What do you mean have been on service? Not sure what that means.
Yes.
Okay, let's see what we got. No, never been any. No military, no police, no nothing, nope.
Take care.
Nope. I was a EV charger technician is what I was. I would go around and fix EV chargers, electric vehicle chargers. So that's, and install them and repair them. That's what I did for years. I'm retired now. But yeah, that's what I did. I think what we're going to do is we're going to go to a different location. We've pretty much... yeah, maybe I do have that vibe, but no, I've never been into service. I'm not a big fan of the police, so I can guarantee you I never was with the police. Oh, we're in this. Okay. Let's just start throwing it up right now, because here they come. Coming. Aye. That was my fault. I looked away for one split second. It happens, especially after I've done all these changes to my build and to my character. I have heard of PoE. I used to play PoE. Absolutely. Yep. I sure have. I used to play it. It's a good game. PoE 2 is getting ready to come out, I think, in June. I think they're talking about it happening in June. I used to stream PoE. I think it's a fun game. Very fun game. Kind of complicated, but once you learn it, it's a pretty fun game. And really, the only thing that's complicated about it is the builds that you can do with it, which that's kind of what makes it cool. I was asked it yesterday. Really, they were asking me to compare this game between Diablo 4 and PoE. They asked. I think that this game is by far way better than Diablo 4, and with PoE, kind of depends on what you're looking for. This game is easier to play than PoE, for sure, but I don't know. I don't know which one's better as far as PoE in this, because I think that they're each a little bit different enough that it's hard for me to say. I don't know. I enjoy both, but I enjoy this game more than I do PoE. Only because PoE really makes me have to use my brain a lot. It's a very complicated thing. I'm not gonna play. I won't be playing PoE again until PoE 2 comes out. But yeah, I did like PoE, but I think that PoE definitely is a more stressful game. I take it that you play PoE?
Yes.
I think this game took a lot of ideas from PoE. I think they took a lot of their ideas from PoE and they improved it. PoE has been around for such a long time that it's grown into this enormous monster that's kind of complicated to play, complicated to do stuff with. But yeah, PoE 2 looks really good. Some of the previews of it looks great. They're talking June release, so hopefully we'll see it then. Hopefully it doesn't get delayed. And I know that some of the PoE developers actually worked with these guys for a little while to kind of trade a few ideas from each other, which I thought was really interesting. You don't see a lot of software companies work together like that. But yeah, I liked PoE. I just think it's a complicated game. Luckily, I had a lot of good viewers and followers that knew the game very well, and they were able to really make it a lot simpler for me. Because it's a pretty tough game to learn. On the build side, anyway. Well, I made a couple changes to my equipment, and it feels weaker. I hope not, but it seems like it feels like he's weaker. Let me look at something here. Hmm. Physical's a little low. That's the only one, so we may want to do a couple changes there, but everything else is looking pretty good. Don't see too many chests anymore, to be honest. I haven't seen a chest in a long time. I don't know if it's my voice or if it's just the the tools I'm using on my microphone. That may make my voice. Okay. Okay, what direction? Looks like we're gonna go this way. Got a wand there. What do we got over here? Like a lance. Alright, there it is. Done. Okay, well, yeah, we'll go over here. We don't have to. We're already done here, but it's good XP. Like the resistance here, okay, so like if they this, you cap out at 75%, but if you go over, it's actually not too bad because there's some bosses and characters here that can shred resistance. So basically, if they have fire shred, they can shred this down to nothing super quick. So being over 75% is okay, but as you read it here, enemies penetrate 1% resistance per area level up to 75%. So, and it's for each you know, fire, lightning, cold, physical damage, poison, necrotic, and void damage. So that's basically um it's on armor, it's on elements, it's on idols. Like here you could say physical resistance, void resistance, void resistance, void, physical, poison, and you can also have it on gear. So like let's see, here is lightning resistance, cold resistance, uh, poison resistance. It's very, very, very similar to PoE, to Diablo, to all those games out there. They basically all pretty much use the same concept. Some just have different caps than others. Oh, I can't get out. I'm stuck. It's okay. We already finished it, so it doesn't matter. One bad thing about this character is, and I think it's kind of silly the way the developers did it, is he'll get stuck behind his own bone curse barrier. And the only way you can get out of it is by using the profane veil. Or if I using transplant, I could use that as well. I don't use transplant, but I think it's really bad idea the way they did it, because there's certain bosses that will run right through this barrier. They'll just run right through it like they don't even see it. But yet I can't pass through my own barrier. So I think that's just a stupid design. I hate to say it, but it just doesn't make any sense. Just gonna go ahead and sell these because I know I'm not gonna be using them, so I could have broke them, but I'm too lazy. Now we've already got this. Okay, so we got one more here that I wanted to do before I move on to the next one. That's this one. I think it's the last one. Let's look. Yeah. This is that wave stuff again, and this stuff is nasty. So let's go ahead and get it started.
Death will not take me.
And we're dead. I just made too many changes to my gear. Coffee. Just drink a coffee. Made too many changes to my gear here. Made a lot of changes. We still haven't recovered from them all. Just block that bridge for a little while. All right, let's go. Let's make a run for it through here. Ah! We didn't get very far in that, did we? Yeah, we just made too many changes. We were going through this yesterday as well. Made quite a few changes to the gear, and it's hurting me bad. a lot of changes. Yeah, we're gonna die again. Can't get through this. We're just too weak after making the changes that I made. We're just not gonna get through it. We just made way too many changes. We went through this yesterday a little bit. We just got to level a couple more levels and everything will balance itself back out. But until then, it's going to be a struggle doing these empowereds. Till then, we're going to struggle a little bit. Oh, that hurt. Where is he? There he is. That is the bad thing about when you change your build at this high of a level. It takes you a while to get everything back to balanced. Because first of all, your skill's all lower. Definitely did some big changes.
Death will not take me.
So let me take a look at some of the changes I made. One of the things we did, let's wait. See if we can take a look at it now. Changed out this piece. Changed out this piece. We went more towards the necrotic damage. We also changed out this piece. So we really tried to up our necrotic damage up quite a bit. But that brought down, I think it affected our spell damage a little bit, if I remember correctly. I mean, we still kept it up fairly high, but let's see, necrotic is up to 422%, and spell damage is only at 90. So yeah, we definitely hurt our spell damage a little bit. So we may have to backtrack a little bit on that change, but we'll see. Again, like I said, you really ain't gonna know until you do a couple levels here. And you're gonna see if it's gonna balance out. We suffered yesterday too. So it doesn't surprise me, and I kind of expected it. Because we did make, and like I said, we made some more changes this morning. Yeah, my mana is not too bad. And actually, my mana used to be, right now it's at 300 and something, 339. It used to be at 650. I used to have my mana super high. That was one of the big changes we made. And the reason I had it so high is because my main thing I was concentrating on was my ghost flame. And when I brought my mana down, we ended up balancing pretty well on that. But we're still hurting in some other areas. Mostly it's gear related right now. We just got to get our gear updated. I think my health is a little bit lower than where it should be. It was quite a bit higher. These changes caused it to come down. Right now I'm a level, where is it? Right over here, 94. So that's what hurts, is when you start making changes at this high of a level. Keep in mind the enemies aren't making changes, you are. So the changes will definitely bring you down for a while until you get them leveled up. And that's what we're doing. We're getting everything leveled up here. We suffered yesterday. It was frustrating as hell, but we just stayed the course. That's really what you got to do right now. The level cap is 100. Yeah, the cap is 100, which is true with most of this type of game. Although from what I understand, Diablo 4 is talking about raising that cap up a little bit. Diablo's planning to do a lot of changes in this next season. In fact, they've postponed the season 4 so they can get all their changes done, because they realized that their game is just about ready to lose all of its players. It's already dropped by thousands and thousands. And I like Diablo. I really like Diablo 4. I had fun with it. I just didn't like the season that they keep just doing the same thing over and over and over. It's not very interesting. He killed me when I had my, now you saw that? You seen it. Profane Veil is supposed to not allow it unless it's a overtime, and that wasn't. So that's bullshit. Luckily I already had it done, but Profane Veil, this is the second time on stream that it's killed me.
Yes.
That I've gotten killed using it, and you're not supposed to. I'll show you. I'll show you. That's the second time that's happened. Whoops. And I don't understand why. So, Profane Veil is this. And it says, channel to conceal yourself within a profane veil that deals damage over time to enemies around you. While concealed, you dodge every hit, but you can still take damage from damage over time effects, such as ailments. That wasn't a damage over time. I don't understand why. That's the second time that's happened. It happened yesterday too. We got killed by, again, I think it was a cold blast yesterday. And that's just not supposed to happen. So I don't understand why. But it ticks me off because I use that for that exact reason. And when I pop it, I'm expected to be safe. Right there, right there. And that's the exact reason you use it, because you see that, hey, I can't dodge it. I'm gonna get hit with it. So if I pop my profane veil,
Make it far.
let's make sure everything is cleared down here because he's gonna try to pull me down here. I actually kind of stopped doing those for quite a while, the prisoners, because the rewards suck. And then as soon as I say that the rewards suck and I go back and do it again, the rewards are great. So let's go see. Okay, that didn't even damage him that time. Alright, so let's see what we got. No. I mean, it wasn't a bad drop, but it's nothing that I'm going to use. So I kind of stopped doing those for the most part because of that reason. These guys are really tough right here. These things, they're tough little boogers. Put up a good fight. Okay, well, we started off pretty rough here this morning. We're slowly getting things back to where they should be. Not a whole lot there. No, I don't have a pet. No. It just sometimes you'll see a pet pop when I pop one of the spires. It assigns a pet to you for like a moment. But yeah, I don't have a pet in this game. I wish I had a pet that would pick up my loot. That's a good idea. Okay, there it is. Bow, bow, bow. Offhand. Key. Boots. Shards. Yeah, if I had a pet, that would be awesome. If I had a pet to pick up the loot. I think the other thing that would be cool is if they let you do some type of scripting and said, if this happens and this happens, let me do automatically fire this, you know. If health equals this and if mana equals this, fire this. I think those would be, it does have a filter, yeah. It does have a filter. It's built-in filter, which is really nice too. And you can modify it. Very similar to the way PoE does it. Okay, that's a hammer. Yeah, I'm almost. Oh, you're almost there, getting close to 100. Yeah, I'm getting close too. I'm getting very close myself. I made a lot of changes to my build yesterday or 2 days ago, and I've been kind of paying the price until I get everything leveled up here. Making changes this late in the game can sometimes be a pain.
Will not take me.
But I know that the changes I made, there's over 70 million. Oh my gosh. That's amazing, MMO. Wow. Yeah, I was unaware of that. That's something. All right, well, we sealed the gate. Let's go ahead and get out of here. Yeah, I don't recommend that you do changes this late in the game like I did.
Yes.
It just, it's been kind of a struggle. Yesterday was really frustrating. I'm sure today's going to be frustrating until I get everything to where it's supposed to be. It's just going to be a struggle. But we're going to keep powering through it. We're going to make it. Like I said, the changes I made are good. It's just, they're going to take a while to be good. That's just the way it's going to be. Okay, keep you. Oh, yeah, okay. I knew that. I just never looked at it. But yeah. Yeah. It's a long process. $250 million.
Take care.
It's amazing, man. Okay, let's go find these patrolling. I like the Warlock. He's been a struggle at some times, at some points. Early game was really a struggle. Until you find a build that you like, I think, but he's fun. He's way more fun than playing a sorcerer in Diablo 4, I'll tell you that much. I have a Primalist too in this game. I like the Primalist a lot too. I think the Primalist is a lot easier. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it, MMO. Well, I better watch what I'm doing here. All right, let me watch what I'm doing. I get killed here. Thank you for the follow there, Johnny. Appreciate it. Blast Rain Marksman is fun, but I have to admit I love the look of Warlock. You know, I had somebody was telling me that the Blast Rain Marksman was a lot of fun too. Somebody else was telling me the same thing. I think the Warlock is, I think it's a little harder to play. I mean, my health is way too low right now for what I'm doing. It should be quite a bit higher. And it was until I made all these changes. I had to give up something. And I went a little bit too heavy on my necrotic damage, I think. And it brought down quite a bit of stuff. Sometimes my bone curse gets on my nerves because the barrier is, it can block me. Like if I pop it right here, let's just do an example. If I pop it right there, I'll see that one lined up with a hole in the middle, but sometimes it doesn't. And I can't get through it unless I use my Profane Veil. And then if I use my Profane Veil to get through it, it's got a 9-second cooldown. And it may not even be available to get through it. It just kind of, it irritates me sometimes. So I don't use it as much as I should. I did strengthen up my Spirit Plague a little bit. Because early game, I really thought Spirit Plague was worthless too, but now that I've gotten it a little bit more strength, and Profane Veil has got a couple glitches and bugs in it that I reported, and they said they were going to do a fix for it, but I haven't seen it. Right there. Sometimes it's just hard to get through it. Here's a good example too. I can't get through this. Oh, we got through it as soon as I said it. Oh, because there is a gap right there. I'm telling you, yesterday it drove me crazy. There's days that it just drives me nuts. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and pop this. And we'll grab those shards. basically done here. For a place that said it was supposed to drop a unique rings, I didn't see any. Looks like whatever change I made caused my profane veil to get a little bit weaker, which I didn't notice when I made the changes, so I guess I might want to go back to the drawing board a little bit on that. Accidentally hit that. Okay, well, that's it.
Yes.
Let's get all your stuff. I've actually been thinking about switching to my controller in this game because I've had a few people tell me that they think it's easier, the controller. I don't know how true that is, but oops. Okay, I gotta take a quick break. I'll be right back, everybody. Okay, let's get back to it here. Oh, we could go do this optional. Let's go do that. Oh, we've already done this one so many times. All right. No big deal. Got a whole lot of them here. Save the villagers.
Will not take me.
I hear them, I don't see them. Oh, there they are. Okay. Where's the next one? All the way back.
Wither before me.
Yeah, wither, would ya? Oh, you're slamming me pretty good, aren't you? Okay, let's go to the next one.
Your death has come.
I definitely feel the lowering my spell damage for necrotic damage has definitely hurt me. Oh, see, definitely has hurt me. I can see it as I'm trying to kill this guy. Ow, 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 cramp, 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 cramp. Yeah, I definitely see it as I'm trying to kill that guy. I see where I've lowered it too much. So we're gonna probably have to do a few more tweaks to this. I mean, we made some major changes, so I'm not surprised. I knew that we were gonna see some weaknesses. But that didn't seem to last very long. And you see the gear just isn't worth it. It's doing those have been kind of a flop lately. I don't know. I haven't. I need to start skipping them again because they're just not very. The reward just isn't very good. Yeah, I don't advise doing changes this late in your gear, in your leveling, as I've done. I'm definitely paying the price for it over the last couple days. The changes were all good changes, but this late in the game is probably not the smartest thing I've ever done. I enjoy playing with builds, so that's part of the problem, for sure. So yeah, I did a lot of changes. My mana used to be up over 700. My life was way over this. But this was like 700 before my changes. Now we're just kind of using some efficiency things to make it. I don't know why my profane veil has just been very weak here today. It was yesterday too, but I need to figure out what I did to that. Something's definitely changed. I don't know what, but I definitely made some changes that affected it, I can see. Yeah, we're gonna have to do a little more tweaking on this build, it looks like. Yeah, that'll keep them busy for a little while. One more over here somewhere. Two more. One more. Actually, I think actually when we get them all free, we have to defend. Oh, it's this thing we gotta get rid of. That's right. There we go.
Yes? Take care.
Okay, where do we want to go? That's once. So let's do it this way. I don't want idols, but we're gonna have to do. We got way too many idols now. The other thing is since this build change, I used to just run like I was playing a rogue. I mean, I just speed ran through these. I can't, and pulled everything. I would purposely run all around and grab everything and pull them all to me. I can't do that anymore. Since we did these build changes, we don't have the ability to do that. And like I said, we lowered this a lot, and this got cut in half. Some of the changes I made were to give up those for other things. And we definitely have paid the price for it. But like I said, it's all gonna work out in the end. I just gotta get to everything balanced back to where it was. We'll be just fine.
Your death has come. Before me.
So if I slow down a little bit, I'm able to do just fine. And like earlier today already, I was just running, and I can't do that. I have to remember that I made changes. I'm not able to do that anymore. Got to give it time for my spirit plague to kick in. thing said wands. That's why. Oh no, we didn't go into that one. That's right. We're still getting there. Never mind. The vicious one. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Okay, well, we have this one done already, so, but let's go ahead and just clear it out here. Got something else here that we haven't killed yet, but it's going to be all the way back there, so I'm not going to worry about it. Like I said, I don't want any idols. I'm not even going to look at them, because if I look at them, I'm going to pick them up. And I don't want idols. I've got pages and pages of idols in my stash, and we don't need any more.
Yes. Take care.
Okay. I want to go here is where I'm trying to get to. But I thought this was going to join there and it didn't. Got right up in my face. I couldn't see him, but I could hear him. My own barrier blocks me. I can't, I don't like it. More idols. That was ugly. I really don't need any more keys either. You know, they got three dungeons in this game, I think. And they seem to believe that you need like 1,000,000 keys. I guess maybe you do if you fail a lot. I'm doing great, the Vicious One. Hope you are too. I'm doing great. It's Saturday. Well, since I retired last 2 weeks ago, the weekends don't appear to be a whole lot different to me, except for my wife is home. That's about it. I had a lot of people tell me I was going to regret retiring. I got to tell you, I don't regret it for 1 second. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll tell you, it's funny because my wife is from Lithuania. She didn't understand why I was making such a big deal and so excited to be retired. And she just didn't get it. And when I started asking her, well, why? Isn't it a big deal for you guys in Lithuania? And she's like, well, no, not really, because the government doesn't give us shit for money. And so we all have to keep working anyway. And I'm like, oh. Now, keep in mind that one of the reasons that they don't give shit for money is because they give you a free place to live. You don't pay mortgage. You don't pay for school. You don't pay for college. You don't pay for medicine. You don't pay for medical. Your taxes are super high, but all you're really paying for is your groceries. Gotcha, bro. Working on number 2. I gotcha. I follow exactly where you're going. Been there, done that. This is actually my second retirement, to be honest with you. I retired 3 years ago. I wasn't of age, but I just did my own early retirement because I had enough money in the bank, and I was doing full-time streaming. And then the company that I just left was a startup company, and they came to me and said, hey, we understand that you are a EV charger guy. I'm like, yeah, that's me. And they're like, well, we just started up our own EV charging company, and we would love it if you came and worked for us. And I'm like, well, you know what? If you give me this much money, you're gonna have me. And they did. I was surprised. I gave them a really astronomical number, and they took it. And I'm like, all right, guess I'm gonna go work for you now. So that's what I did. Scepter it is. I am not 65 either. I retired at My one of my wife's side jobs, she has a full-time job, but one of her side jobs is selling insurance, and she got me really good insurance for, I think it's like $250 a month, and it's really good. And she also had to get it because her full-time job doesn't give her insurance. She was using my insurance all these years. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. Insurance is expensive, man. Oh, see, that's good. That's 165. Oh, TRICARE is really nice. That's really nice for life, bro. Yeah, that's my daughter too. My daughter works for the government, and they got some great benefits. Definitely has some good benefits, man. Yeah, it keeps a hell of a lot in your pocket. Yeah, for sure. Insurance is through the roof these days.
Yes.
Insurance is absolutely ridiculous. Oh, see, that's awesome. Yeah, my daughter actually works for the VA. She actually works for the VA. What am I doing? Yeah, she works for the VA. She's actually a VA. Yeah, they are treated like crap by the government. I agree. These soldiers went out and, you know, did all this stuff that we didn't want to do, and our government treats them like crap, which is kind of sad. They deserve every one of the benefits they get.
Take care.
I've heard a lot of people also try to claim that, oh, it's unfair. How come they get this and we don't? And I'm like, are you freaking serious? Like, you do understand what these guys went through and you did not, but whatever. It's sometimes it's just a stupid argument. Yep, they do. Yeah, it's kind of sad. It is. My daughter tells some pretty horror stories of what she sees some vets go through. Like I said, she works for the VA. She sees it. She's actually a VA nurse. She's a registered nurse with the VA, so she sees quite a bit. I think a lot of times it's more than she wants to see. We can't fit any more uniques in there, so luckily we have a whole empty. I think the saddest part is if you're gonna have most VA people that deal with the soldiers, they should be ex-veterans themselves, because then they have some empathy in their heart, which sadly a lot of people don't. And it's like, really? But yeah, it's a sad situation what a lot of vets have to go through, for sure. Oh, that's awesome, bro. That's awesome. Good for Leland Sorensen. My uncle was in Vietnam for a very, very long time and kept going back and kept going back. And I'll tell you, as a little kid, I remember my grandfather sitting down with him and telling him why why are you going back? Stop. You're going to get killed. You've done enough tours. It's time for you to come home. And my uncle said at that time that he knew where the POWs were, and that was his job, was to go get the MIAs out. And he's like, somebody has to get them out, you know, and I'm going back each time to get them out. And so that's what he did. Sadly, he got pretty addicted to heroin while he was there over all those years, and came back and got himself cleaned up, and then joined the Secret Service, believe it or not, and worked for the Secret Service for years and years and years, until he was mysteriously found killed, murdered in the back of a van that wasn't his. And to this day, nobody knows what happened. And my grandfather and grandmother and his brothers and sisters will tell you that it's because he knew too much, and he was upset about some of the stuff he knew that was going on with the Secret Service. Now, I don't know whether that's true or not. Who knows? I agree. Should be a requirement of the president. It absolutely should be. Because they have no problem sending our boys to war, because they don't know what it's about. They've never had to do one themselves. So yeah, I totally will agree with that. I'll tell you, when I was a little boy, my uncle would come back and tell stories of Vietnam and show me pictures, and I was just a little kid, man. I was like 10 years old, maybe I think younger. And I remember just crying my eyes out to my mom and dad, telling them I don't want to go there. I don't want to be any part of that. Some of the stuff that he dealt with, I was like, holy Christ. Yeah, I mean, obviously your grandma was trying to protect you, which, you know, I understand, but yeah, it's sadly she blamed the Marine Corps instead of Vietnam. But I mean, I can also see where she probably got that feeling from, because I'm betting that your grandfather probably had some things that he was suffering through, and the Marine Corps wasn't helping him. You know, that's the way they treat the VA, the veterans. So she probably had a distaste in her mouth for both, but probably put the most blame on the thing that she could put her finger on, which was, you know, the Marine Corps. So I kind of understand where she's coming from. So strange, right? I mean, and I grew up and knew that I did not want anything to do with the military after watching my uncle go through the things that he went through and the stories he told. And he was the one that kind of kept telling me, you don't join, don't go, don't join, don't go. I mean, he was an old man when, you know, time was for me, and he was preaching to me, don't go in. And he didn't have to worry, because I had already made up as a young man that military life wasn't for me, for sure. I knew I was never going to be brave enough to be able to do that. And then my brother joined the Marines, and he made a career out of it. My younger brother. And he loved it. He absolutely loved it. And he, I think he went and served in, he was in Iraq for quite a while. And it's funny because you compare his stories to my uncle's, his stories are all good. He absolutely loved it, thought it was great, loved the camaraderie. So it was like two totally different spectrums, you know. It was, yeah, that's what my brother says too. My younger brother says the same thing, that the Marine Corps was the best thing that ever happened to him. And for him, I kind of relate, because he was kind of a lost soul as a young man. He needed some direction, and it was good for him. It was really good for him. Me, I was more of the guy that didn't understand why presidents felt, or leaders felt, like they had the ability to send boys to war for really stupid reasons. And I knew that I'm not going to be able to do that. So I've always commended the people that were able to do it, because I'm like, you guys are going to fight for a cause that probably is not important to anybody but the person telling you to go. And in some cases. Now, in other cases, that's totally different. You know, like 9/11, that was where it was important to everybody. But yep, I agree with you totally there, the vicious one. Yeah, this 99% of our generation does lack purpose, and I've heard a lot of people try to blame it on parents, and I'm like, that might be true in some cases, but you know, social media has a big hold and more play in the game than we give it credit for. Keep in mind, when we were kids, social media didn't exist. I mean, Christ, we were using still landline telephones. You know, we didn't have any of this stuff that these kids are now growing up with. I mean, I look at my granddaughter and I just think, holy cow, your world is going to be so much different than mine ever was. Yeah, we actually left the house and socialized. Exactly right. We went outside and played, and you know, that's what our world was. And today's world is a lot different. And I don't want to say it's scary different, because I don't think we've. Yeah, CompuServe and Usenet exactly. Yeah, and modems are, you know, made that sound. So yeah, that's what we had. It's scary different, yeah. BBSs, you know, I used to run a BBS back in 1980. Oh my gosh, what was it? 80, 84, 85, 86. I ran a BBS. It was like 300 baud, and then it went to 1200 baud, then it went to 9600 baud, and and it was actually back in the day of the 8-inch floppy disks, and then they went down to what, the 4-inch floppy, 5-inch floppy disk, and oh yeah, did all that. I was a computer geek for sure. Hence the name of Made Biker. I was raised by bikers. Okay, my family was bikers, and I was the nerd. I was the oldest of 6, and I was the nerd. I was really into some weird stuff back then, especially as a little kid, because, you know, there were no computers, there were none of that. So I was really into a lot of weird stuff. And then everybody always told me, we're going to make you into a biker. We're going to make you into a biker. We're going to make you into a biker. And then as I grew older, my first car was a Harley Davidson. And I just, you know, started riding with the crew, and spent a lot of years doing that, and went to college. And, you know, they all used to call me Made Biker. They'd be like, see, we made you into a biker. We made you into a biker. We made you into a biker. Made Biker, Made Biker. Hey, Made Biker. So it just kind of stuck with me through all the years. I've had so many people in my life ask me, what is this Made Biker stuff? And that's what it's all about, is they would call me Made Biker, and still do. Like you're a terrible parent because your kid's gonna go outside and play. Yeah, well, we got a lot of people in the world today that believe that they know how to be a better parent than anybody else, and it's usually their kids that are that are the problem. Yeah, I was never a strict parent. I ain't gonna lie. My kids grew up pretty spoiled, which is sad, you know. I mean, but they're good kids, and they've got careers. They've got kids of their own now, and it feels good to hear them say, hey, you were a good dad. So that's always a good thing to hear. And of course, I made a bazillion mistakes, man. I mean, there is no manual, you know. Yep, exactly. I agree. And it's okay to make mistakes. If you don't make mistakes, you ain't trying new stuff. I think the one thing that the value I instilled into my kids was that you can be whatever you want to be. Don't let anybody tell you you can't be. Now, we didn't have to deal with a lot of the things that people are dealing with today. I mean, I have a buddy of over 30 some years, and his oldest son is gay. And my buddy had such a hard time with it. I mean, for years. Now he's finally got it under where he's able to live with it and deal with it and be a loving dad. But his son is now 30 years old. It took him 20 some years, you know. Well, not really, because his son didn't realize it until he was a little bit older. But that's things that you know, we don't have to, I didn't have to deal with when I was a dad. I mean, it was just, it seems to be a new trend, and I hate to say it that way because I know it's not a trend, and I know that those people get offended by you saying it that way, but it is something that I never had to deal with. And I'll tell you, my buddy's wife used to call me, and she'd tell me, you need to come and talk to, and we'll call him Bill. You need to come and talk to Bill. You're the only one he'll listen to. Okay, so I would drive to his house, and I'll tell you, one day his wife, and he has younger kids at the time. His oldest was gay, and then his youngest kids, and his wife would call me, and I would take him. I'd go to the house, and his wife would tell me what happened. I'll tell you one incident. One incident was, I said, "What happened?" He said, "Well, we were all sitting at the supper table, and Bill got in a fight with, let's say his oldest son's name is Joe. Got in a fight with Joe, an argument at the table." And he said, "Well," and the other kids were there, and Bill said, "Well, at least I don't suck dick." And you know, you just can't say that in front of the other kids. You just can't. I understand how frustrating and he felt as a father, and you know, and I had to tell him, "Dude, do you love your son? Do you love him?" He's like, "Of course I do." Well, then you got to let this go, bro. You can't just. And he's like, "It's hard. I can't do it." You know, and I mean, for years he struggled. Now he's the best dad in the world. He understands that just because your son is this way doesn't make him any less of a person. And it's a question that, you know, I had to sit down and ask myself, what would I have done if one of my kids would have been gay? How would I have treated them? Would I have treated them the same? Would I have, you know... Those things when we were growing up, it was almost unheard of. Our generation was different. Oh, I don't know why Nightbot just did that to you, bro. Nightbot doesn't like, and Nightbot for some reason, and I can't get rid of it. It sucks. I can't get rid of it. It's one of those things that it blocks words like gay and stuff like that for some reason, and I don't know why. I've turned it off several times. It keeps turning itself back on. I need to make a note to go back and take a look at that. I apologize for that. Yeah. Yeah, it's... Again, I don't know how I would have reacted as a father. I hope I would have reacted the way I told my buddy to react, but it's a hard thing to say. You know, I don't know. Yeah, yep, absolutely. Messing them up big time. You know, but this is true. The one thing I will say that's common is, even when we were young, people that were different, they got treated very poorly. And I know this for a fact because, as I said, I was raised by bikers. And we would ride. I can remember riding from Iowa down through Texas, down through, I mean, we rode the whole country, and we dressed in leathers. We were dirty and long hair, and we looked like a mess. I ain't gonna lie. And people were scared of us everywhere I went. And I was a teenager maybe, and then in my young 20s, and it always bothered me that why are people scared of us? There's no reason to be scared of us, but they were. Parents would even grab their kids, and I remember we were at a restaurant, and of course we didn't look pretty. We just got done riding for hours, and we're getting something to eat, and this little boy is just staring at all of us in our leathers and long hair and colors, you know, we're wearing, and our patches. And the little boy came, you know, I kind of did a little motion like this, you know, come here, and the little boy came over, and I forget what I gave him, but I gave him something, a toy or something I had in my pocket, and the mom and dad freaked out and got all pissed off and gave me holy freaking hell. How dare I, you know, talk to their son? How dare I? And I was like, wow, okay. Yeah, there is a lot of people that are bullied. And you're right, that word gets used probably too much. The sad part is, though, the second we say that it gets used too much is when people will try to say, well, my kid's not a bully. Well, yeah, your kid is a bully. I mean, now there's some kids that are not bullies, that they're just... I was the kind of kid, honestly, that defended the... you know, my favorite cartoon as a young boy was Underdog, because that's how I was. I defended those people that I constantly got in trouble because of that. Defending the guy that needed, or the girl, or whoever it is that needed defended. I learned at a young age, though, a lot about violence, to be honest with you. Yeah, I loved Underdog. Underdog to save the day. But at a young age, my grandpa and my dad took me to a college football game, and I was really young. And we're walking through the parking lot to the stadium to go to the game, and there's this group of 4 guys beating the crap out of one guy. And my grandpa says to my dad, that doesn't look like a very fair fight. So my grandpa walks over. My dad and my grandpa are very big guys, and they walk over to the fight, and they tell the guys, hey, this isn't a fair fight, let's stop, let's leave this alone. And the guys tell my grandpa, shut the fuck up, old man. And oh my God, that was it. My grandpa and my dad went in there and beat the living squat out of those 4 guys. And I remember as a little boy just standing there with my mouth open, thinking, my grandpa is the most awesomest guy in the world. I mean, they taught me stuff like, and I'm not saying it's right, but they taught me stuff like, how you win a fight doesn't matter. Lake Square, thank you for the follow. They taught me, you know, how you win a fight doesn't matter. It's who wins that matters, because that's the only thing they're going to remember. And that was a very true statement to this day. I'm like, yeah, that's a very true statement. You know, they taught me things of the nature of, if you're in a fight, you keep fighting until that person can't get up. If they can get up, that means they're going to come back for you. In fact, my grandpa used to say it this way: you put that man in the hospital, because when he's in the hospital and he's getting better, he remembers, oh shit, I don't ever want to fight that guy again. He said, but if that guy can get back up on the street, he's going to get back up and he's going to keep trying to fight. So you need to make sure it's done. You know, and so, yeah, I mean, he was right. I mean, it's crazy. But as a young man, I got in a lot of trouble because of that type of thinking. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I'm a kickboxer, okay? And so one day I went to this bar, and there was this dude that kept bumping into me. It was a pretty full bar, bumping into my back. I'm with my girlfriend at the time, and I finally tell my girlfriend, let's just leave. You know, because I know this is going to get ugly. So let's just leave. So we go outside, and this bar's got this big picture window that looks right out to the road. We get outside, and we get probably a little bit out onto the sidewalk, and here comes this guy with 3 other of his friends, and they want to fight. And I tell them straight up, listen, guys, I'm a kickboxer. I don't want to fight. Let's just let it go. I'm leaving. You know, let's let it go. And they start laughing. And they're like, you know, blah, blah, saying all this stuff. I tell my girlfriend, go to the car. So she goes to the car. These guys start a fight. But within, I mean, I'm going to probably lengthen it just to be conservative, but probably within 3 minutes, they were all on the ground. I'm walking away
go to my car. The whole bar comes flying out of the bar. And I remember thinking to myself, oh shit, I'm good, but I'm not this good. And this guy comes running in front of the group and said, oh my God, that was the most awesome thing I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen that except for on TV. And I'm like, okay. You know, and they're all like, hey, man, those guys deserved a good fucking job, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, Jesus, okay, I got to go. Get in my car, go home. Here come the police. Somebody had taken my plates, obviously, and called it in. Here come the police to come to my door. They tell me that they're going to take me to jail. I'm like, what do you mean you're going to take me to jail? I defended myself. And they're like, listen, we talked to everybody at the bar. We know you defended yourself. We understand all of that. But you used excessive force. I'm like, what? And they're like, you used excessive force. 2 of them are in the hospital. It's excessive. You didn't need to do it that way. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And of course, they threw me in jail. And it was on a Friday night. I sat in the jail the entire weekend until Monday to see the judge. I go in front of the judge. He reads all this stuff off. The defendants are sitting there. And they drop the charges and they let me go. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me, man? But yeah, I mean, I had a lot of that kind of stuff as a young man, and I will admit that as a young man, I was an angry young man about a few things, and yeah, didn't do me well.
Your death has come.
I've had a super interesting life. I had a lot of people. Yeah, exactly. If I would have lost, they would have killed me or they would have hurt me extremely badly. And that was their whole purpose. They just wanted to hurt somebody. You know, and I don't even know who these guys were. I had no contact with them in my life except for that. They were just out looking to fight, and I'm only 5'7". I'm 5'7", so they thought, oh, and these guys were big guys, and they were like, oh, look at this little dude. Let's go, you know. And I told them a couple times in the bar to stop bumping into me. You know, that was most of our contact, but. Where I grew up at, it was my wife laughs about it because I took her there so she could see it. We had 13 streets. No stops, no stoplights, none of that. We had a bank, we had a gas station, and we had a bar. And our school was kindergarten through 12th grade, all in one building. So everybody knew everybody. There was no doubt about it. And when I went back to my high school reunion after 20 some years, it was hilarious. First person that sees me says, oh my God, it's Brian. It's Brian. My real name is Brian. It's Brian. We thought you were in jail or for sure, you know, maybe dead. You know, you were such a crazy guy. Do you remember? And they looked at my girlfriend who was with me at the time. And they said, did he tell you about the time he threw the principal out the second floor window? And my girlfriend looks at me like, what? And I'm like, I didn't throw the principal out the second floor window. I held the window open and Sean threw the principal out the second floor window. And they were like, oh yeah, that's right. Oh, the principal broke his arm and we got suspended. And then this person continues to tell my girlfriend that, who's now my wife, did he tell you about when him and his brother stole a car? And we didn't steal the car, okay? We borrowed the car and we brought it right back. We didn't steal it. If stealing means we took it and had no intention of bringing it back, we brought it back. We faced the police when we brought it back. Next thing you know, the police came to my house. I was a young man. When I was young and growing up in that town, here was the rule. You're under the age of 18. Now, this is back in 1976, you know, 77, 78. You're under the age of 18. They don't do anything to you. Back then it was they slap your wrist, they send you home, they say, no, don't do that again. And that's how I was back then. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, hey, I can get away with whatever I want as long as I don't kill somebody. You know, as long as I don't hurt people, I can do it. So that's what I did. I was a crazy little bastard. I was this crazy little bastard that was really, really good at football and really, really good at wrestling. So I got college scholarships, and I didn't want to go. You know, I really didn't want to go to college, and people had to sit me down and say, listen, we don't want you to grow up like us. You're going to go to school. You're going to go be somebody. Best advice they ever gave me.
Your death has come.
Yeah, a bunch of snitches. Exactly. I deserved everything I got, though, back then. I don't hold any. I deserved it all. I was just a crazy little bastard. Now I go back to that town and I can't believe that it even exists. I'm like, how did we survive here? My wife makes fun of it. She's just like, really? This is your town? And I'm like, yep, this is where I grew up. The closest police that we knew, you know, back then was 20 minutes away. Unless you caught them in between, unless they got the call in between, you know, then they were closer. But we knew. I'm in the East Coast now. I'm down in Florida. But when I grew up in the Midwest. You're in Florida too? Yeah. I love Florida. I'm so glad we moved here. I actually came here from my job. They transferred me down here. And they paid for everything, so it worked out great. Sayreville, New Jersey. In Alabama. All right. You know, I just did a job in, I forget the name of the town. Well, it wasn't just, it was a year ago in Alabama for some EV chargers that they needed repaired. It was a coastal town. I can't remember what the name of it was, to be honest. Yeah, it was on the coast. It was like right on the coast. If I heard the name, I would know it. Not Dothan, not Dothan, Dothan. No, not that. It wasn't that. It was the last, well, not the last. It was one of the last jobs I did before my retirement. Destin, that's what it was. Destin. Yep, it was Destin. One of the hotels had, yeah, there's a lot of crazy drivers down here, and I do ride down here, and yeah, you're absolutely right, everyone. There's just, they don't give a crap. They don't look for motorcycles. It's risky every day. I'm used to it, but I won't let my kids. I didn't even teach my kids to ride. I don't want them to ride. It's like, saw too many people lose their lives on it. Thank you for the subscription, the Vicious One. Appreciate that. Alabama, I'll be honest with you. I didn't like Alabama too much when I was there. I just thought it was that coastal city. I thought was kind of dirty.
What is that? Yeah, I thought I can't say I really enjoyed Alabama, to be honest. I thought it was kind of dirty. I was like really surprised. I was like, this is a coastal town. This should be beautiful, and it really wasn't. I was kind of surprised, very surprised by that.
Yes.
But they had told me, yeah, it was a lower Alabama, but they had told me too that it's that way because of the storms. And I don't know, I wasn't there during a storm, but apparently it's hurricanes and stuff like that really have done a number to that area. Smartest city in the world. Daytona and Orlando now. Not bad here. Nice low cost of living, unlike New Jersey. Yeah. It's all NASA and government contractors. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. So halfway between, I'm between Orlando. I'm right in the middle of the state. I'm between Orlando and Tampa. Actually, I used to go through Daytona almost once a week to go do EV chargers because I would drive all the way down to South Miami a lot, and Vero Beach and Melbourne, and oh my gosh, Orlando had a lot of them. Yeah, Huntsville was voted, I think, #1. I saw that same article.
Take care.
It was voted the #1. But yeah, I really like Florida. I like our location because hurricanes don't affect us. We get just some rain, and I'm in the only area in Florida that has hills. Florida is very flat land. I am in the one place that has hills, so that's kind of nice. Clearwater, my wife loves Clearwater Beach area, loves it. Now, like I told you guys, my wife is from Lithuania, so we have people come all the time and they stay with us, sometimes for up to 2 months. And we had one couple came from Lithuania, and they rented a car and they drove from Florida to California, and I was like, that is the best way to see America right there. And it's funny because some of when they come here and some of the stuff they see, they're just freaked out. They don't, it's hard for them to comprehend. But Lithuania is now becoming pretty modern too. Oh, wow, that's a long drive, bro. That's a long ass drive. My daughter is now in California. It's where our grandbaby is, and so we're always kind of like, damn it, you need to move here. You wanted to do the move, yeah, the drive. I mean, yeah, it's got to be beautiful. A lot of things you can see. I mean, I did it on the motorcycle as a young man a lot, and I loved it. Some of my favorite areas was always the desert, which my wife is always like, really? Why the desert? And I'm like, it was just beautiful. Open land, just gorgeous. And you'd see all these rock formations in some areas, and 40 of the 50 states. That's awesome, dude. I haven't been to that many. Most of the northeast area I have not been to. I've been to Massachusetts, I've been to Maryland, but they were all work related. But I've been there. But most of the Northeast I have not. Yeah, California's outrageous. My daughter's out there. She just bought a house, $3 million for this little tiny freaking house. Yeah, I'm a huge history buff, so you would think that I would want to go to the Northeast, but it's never really interested me too much up there. Like, for me, going to Gettysburg is like incredible. I just think it's so cool. Oh, you missed the Jersey Shore? My daughter used to watch that show Jersey Shore all the time. It used to drive me crazy. Okay. Yeah. Florida's pretty affordable too.
I mean, Florida is very affordable. I didn't come here because I wanted to. I came here because my job asked me if I would transfer here if they paid for everything, and I said sure. Free move, I'll do it. And now I'm glad we did, because now I really like it. I was getting tired of snow. I gotta be honest. I was really getting pretty tired of the snow.
Will not take me.
Oh, that got sketchy. Oh, you missed it from the ads. Oh, the startup thing. Yeah, they found me and they contacted me and asked me if I would come and help them do this startup company for EV chargers. And I made them. I said, yeah, I come for this outrageous price. I mean, I made it just outrageous, and they agreed to it, and they gave me everything I wanted. Plus, I asked for other stupid stuff that they said yes to. I said I want 120 hours of vacation on the day I'm hired, and they were like, okay, no problem. And I forget some of the shit that I asked for. And I went there and I went with the company, and they were a great company to work for. I absolutely loved it. And they gave me every single penny I ever asked for. They treated me great. Then they hired, which I hate to say, but it's true, that they hired this chick to be my boss, which I don't have a problem working for a chick at all, but she was such a bitch. And I just got so fed up with dealing with her that I decided, I'd only been with them for a couple of years, I decided, you know what, I'm leaving, I'm retiring. And they tried to talk me out of it, and I said, nope, you guys hire some people that you want me to train, I'll train them, but I ain't staying anymore. And so I left. Retired just 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. And I've been very happy that I did it. Before, the way it was before when I started with them, honestly, it was totally a different world before they hired this girl. She, this woman, they would tell me, they'd call me up and say, hey, we've got these jobs in these locations. Can you please schedule them and get there and get them repaired? Sure, no problem. You know, and I'd get them scheduled and I would go and repair them. For example, like one place I had to go to was Nebraska and Union Pacific Railroad. Nebraska and Arkansas had a ton of our EV chargers for their railroad employees were driving the new Lightning trucks that are all EV. And so they have EV chargers all over their rail yard, which is 8 miles of rail yard, right? So I went to Arkansas, Nebraska, and I did those. Well, then they hired this chick, and here's how she talked to me. This is the day I told her I'm retiring. She called me up and she said, hey, I need you to go to Naples, Florida, which is like about 3.5 hours away from me. And she said, and I need you to go there tomorrow. I'm like, what do you mean you need me to go there tomorrow? I already have jobs scheduled for tomorrow. Well, you need to reschedule those and go tomorrow. No, I'm not going to do that. And she's like, well, I need you to do that. And then I need you to go to, where was it? Louisiana, I think she said. And she goes, I need you to go there Monday and Tuesday. And I said, what do you mean Monday and Tuesday? I got vacation scheduled for Monday and Tuesday that you've already approved. She said, yeah, well, I'm going to cancel that. And she's like, I need you to go. And I need you to go right away. I'm like, oh, what? What is going on? You know, and got in a big argument with her. She told me, well, I own you. That was her words. I own you. And I'm like, okay, you think you own me? Guess what? I'm retiring. And that's what I did. And I told her, I'm not going to go to either one of those locations because of the way you're going to approach me about it. Figure it out. You're going to have to send somebody else. I'm done. Hire somebody that I can train, and I'm out. And that's exactly what happened. She got all apologetic, and I'm like, you don't ever tell me that you own me. You don't own shit. She was a problem, and I know that the other techs are pretty upset with her too. I know that they've lost another one here just a couple days ago because of the way she talks to people. It's like you have to be able to talk to your techs if you expect them to work for you. That's just life. Exactly. You don't have to tell them to do anything. You can motivate people a whole different way by just asking. And if you're a good boss, people are going to do it for you because they respect you. They may not always like you, but they'll respect you. I was a boss for 20 years, and I actually left it being in management because I didn't like the stress. I didn't like the travel. I was a boss. Honestly, I was a boss for a company that we built a lot of stuff overseas. I was in Korea, South Korea for 9 months. Built a plant out there, hired the guys, trained them how to work on the equipment. Then I went to Germany. Then I was in Denmark. Then I was in Canada quite a bit, Mexico quite a bit. I just got tired of the travel. I lived on an airplane, it felt like, or I lived overseas. It was tough. It's actually the reason I got divorced, to be honest with you, is because I was never home. And I didn't blame my wife at all. It's like, yeah, I'm just never here. It's funny because at the time you think you're doing a really good thing. You think you're providing for your family. These guys paid me a buttload of money. I mean, it was triple digits. It was a lot of money. And it's the exact opposite. When my daughter got married, we were dancing her wedding dance, and she was crying her eyes out. And I'm like, what's going on? And she just flat out told me, she's like, Dad, you were the best dad in the world, but you were never there. You were never, ever there. And I'm like, wow. And I said, well, you do realize that I did all of that for you. You know, I was working for you so you could have whatever you wanted. And like she told me, all I wanted was you. And I was like, damn, man, that hurt right to the heart. I was like, okay. So keep that in mind if you have kids, people, that really the only thing they really want is you. You know, and at the time I thought I was doing everything right, making tons of money, you know, all this stuff for my family, and it was the exact opposite. I was doing nothing right. So yeah, it taught me a big lesson back then when she told me that. That was quite a while ago. And that was when I left, you know, I kind of just said, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to do this job anymore. And I decided I just want to be a peon. I just want to be a guy that goes and does my job, does it good, and goes home. So that was when I moved into EV chargers. And it was one of the easiest jobs I've ever done in my life, EV chargers. Oh my gosh, they're so easy. So you've done a lot of travel too, huh? Yeah. It's hard on families. It is. No, I get it. It's hard. It's hard on you. I mean, I enjoyed certain aspects of it a lot, and certain aspects of it I hated. It's gotten to the point now, though, as an old man, that I absolutely, sometimes, most of the time, totally regret going to airports.
Yes.
I'm like, oh my God, I'm in an airport again. The only thing that gets me there is because I want to go see my grandbaby. That's it. If it's my own kids, I just tell them, get on a plane. You're old enough. Get on the plane. Come here. Come see me. I'm not getting on no more planes if I don't have to, unless it's to go see the grandbabies. And then I'm like, okay, I'm coming. Yeah, exactly. You miss those years of the young kid's life, and we feel it as adults. I felt it when I was traveling. I felt it. I knew what I was missing. But again, I always thought I was doing a good thing. It was what should have been done, and it wasn't. You know, I mean, to find out the way I did, it was like, okay, it's not what was supposed to have been. Yeah, yep, absolutely. Sadness sitting in a hotel. You're absolutely right. To this day, one of my most favorite places I've ever traveled in the world is South Korea. Not gonna lie. One of my all-time favorite places to visit. I've told the wife multiple times that I would like to take her to South Korea, but it's expensive and it's a long-ass flight. But it was just beautiful, beautiful country, beautiful people. My company gave me, Finland, yeah, Australia, okay. I've not been to either one of those, but Finland, I can imagine, has to be very similar to like Denmark was, which was really nice. My company gave me hazard pay to go to South Korea because they said they don't like us. And when I went there, they loved us. I mean, I did have somebody explain to me why there was a partner nation exercise, and the person explained to me very well why they didn't like Americans. And the person said, "Why are you here?" And I'm like, "I'm here to build a plant that is going to hire 3,000 Koreans, and blah blah blah." And she's like, "Well, what is this plant making?" You know, and at the time, we were making a DVD plant that was going to make DVDs, okay? And the person explained to me that, okay, so you come here and you make these facilities. Now, we were right across the street. Our plant was built right across the street. Oh, from the Russian border. We were right across the street from Gold Star, and they were making TVs. And so this person explained to me that you guys come here and you make these products like the TV that we can't afford to buy in our own country. And she said, it's called dumping the market. I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, it was a girl, and she's like, let me show you. She took me into a store, and she said, she was actually my assigned translator, and she said, look at the prices of these TVs that are made right here. And they were outrageous. I was like, oh my God. And she's like, we can't afford to buy that. Yet it's made right here in this city, and we can't afford to buy it. She goes, because you guys come here and you make it and then you sell it at an outrageous price, and then you ship them all to the United States. And she said, it's called dumping the market. And I'm like, okay, I understand. So it made sense to me. I was like, okay, I understand why you don't like us. we think we're coming here and doing a great thing. We're hiring all these Koreans. We're giving you, I mean, the plant that I built there, well, we built a lot of plants, but every plant you build in Korea at that time, you had to build housing. So it had housing, it had a big, huge cafeteria, it had dormitories, you know, it had everything, like a college campus almost. And we thought we were doing good stuff, but it was a union pay, and their union pay was 98 cents an hour. And I'm like, okay, but keep in mind that at that time it was very cheap to live in South Korea, but still. I was there during the 80s when the Olympics were in South Korea, and they gave me free tickets to the Olympics every day. I saw Sugar Ray, Box. I saw some pretty incredible stuff. And when I was there, they were firebombing the torch carrier. They were throwing Molotov cocktails at him and firebombing him as he's running down the street. And I asked this translator that was with me, I asked her, what in the hell is going on? You guys are going to kill him. And she's like, yeah, we're going to kill him. I'm like, why? And she's like, because our Seoul, the president of Korea, Seoul, picked a Japanese man to carry the torch. And Japanese ruled Korea for 400 years or something like that. And she's like, yeah, we're going to kill him. He survived, but I was like, eh. And he had a smile the entire time, running, carrying the torch. Crazy stuff. You mentioned Russia. I'll tell you right now, my wife could tell you stories about Russia. From Lithuania, they were the very first country to break away from Russia. The Soviet Union, actually.
Will not take me.
They were the very first ones, and the Soviet Union weren't happy about it. So they came, started killing everybody. And President Reagan sent troops to assist the Lithuanians and make sure that they could stay liberated, which they did. And the Russians, the Soviet Union, were forced back out. Well, when Reagan did that, he gave them what is now called a lottery. And if you win the lottery, you get a free plane ticket to a city in the United States, and you can get a visa, and you get you get put on the track to get a green card. That's how my wife came to America. She won the lottery. So she came to America, and actually it's a funny story. She didn't want to come because they're taught about how we're so terrible and that we kill everybody and that we're just a bunch of lazy people. So she did not want to come here. She came here with her clothes on her back, and she figured, well, if I don't like it, I can come back. She came here, and she seen immediately that it was nothing but propaganda taught by the Soviet Union. I'll tell you a funny story. She said to me one day, go get your pistol and go get a blindfold. Okay. So I go get a pistol. I go get a blindfold. I blindfold her. She takes that pistol apart and puts it back together. Never seen this gun apart before in her life. Takes it apart, puts it back together blindfolded, and tells me, this is what we learned in school. Because we learned that you guys were all going to come here and kill us all. And I was like, holy shit. What a different way of being brought up. But yeah, she'll tell you stories that she said they would walk through Lithuania, and if they saw a line, you get in it. And because whatever it is, there's got to be something good. Like she said, sometimes it was for toilet paper, sometimes it was for apples, you know, sometimes it was for bananas. It just all depended. But if you seen a line, you automatically got in it. wife absolutely can't. She hates Putin. She hates him so bad. She was never under Putin's rule. She'd been here long before he ever came into power, but she just can't stand him. When we went to Lithuania, we've been there quite a few times, and I was pretty impressed with some of the things I saw. They have this thing, and you could Google it, called the Hill of Crosses. And oh yeah, Putin's very smart. He's very smart. And this Hill of Crosses, I filmed it. It was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen in my life. And it's been there for hundreds and hundreds of years. And the Russians, the Soviet Union would come and bulldoze it every year. They would bulldoze it down, and the Lithuanians would build it back up. And it is amazing. I highly recommend you Google Hill of Crosses in Lithuania. It's just the most incredible sight you'll ever see. And it's nothing but just crosses. And it's something. It was very cool. Then my wife took me to, while you're driving through, okay, as you're driving through Lithuania, you see these signs all over on the road that says Jew killing site, Jew killing site, Jew killing site. And it's always forest. It's pointing towards forest. I'm a huge history buff, so I wanted to go see this. And I had told my wife this before, and she didn't believe me before we went, because I knew I did a lot of research on Lithuania, and Lithuania was the only country in the world that managed to exterminate the Jews. They exterminated them all, and they did it all by themselves, because Hitler came to Lithuania and said, if you don't kill all of the Jews in your country, I am going to come and I am going to kill everybody, and I am going to destroy this country. So the Jews said, okay, we'll kill them all. And they did. Now, my wife didn't believe me, and because it's a shame of Lithuanians, they don't teach it to their people. So when we went there and we saw all these signs, my wife was like, well, these signs were never here before. Well, they are now. And so I had set up that I wanted to go to this memorial site in the middle of this forest. And as soon as you get out of the car, it's just like doom. I mean, literally, you just feel like this doom on top of you. And so we went there, and this old man greeted us, a Jew that had come back, and he brings us in, and he said, we have videos. We would like you, would you like to watch them? I'm like, absolutely. And I'm there with my wife and my daughter. The rest of the family couldn't come. So we sit down, and it shows, these videos they're black and white, and they show these people with kids on their shoulders, and there's people everywhere, and they're watching people beat Jews to death in the middle of this circle of people. And they've brought their kids to enjoy it and to watch it. Everyone is crying. I'm crying. My wife is crying. My daughter's crying. And we watch these entire videos. And then when they're done, the guy tells us, he's like, okay, so Lithuania is the only country in the world that managed to exterminate every single Jew. And he said, and then he's like, when you walk through this forest, you're going to see these huge holes. And he said, that's where they buried the people. And then when they found out that the Americans were coming, they dug all the holes back up, and the bodies were still there, and they burned them all right there, trying to get rid of the evidence. And oh my Lord, it was just one of the saddest things I ever seen in my life. It was terrible. It was just like, wow, and of course, my wife and my daughter were like, we never knew this. And I'm like, well, it's the shame of your country. They didn't want to teach you this, of course. They don't want you to know that they were the only country in the world that accomplished it.
And the saddest part of it was, it's not like you can use the excuse and say, oh, well, there wasn't that many Jews there. Lithuania is a very tiny country. No, actually, Lithuania, Vilnius, the capital of Lithuania, was considered at that time Little Jerusalem. So many Jews lived there that it was considered Little Jerusalem. It's like, holy smokes.
Take care.
You know, it just gets worse and worse and worse. Every little bit you hear about it. It's like sad situation. But yeah, it was considered Little Jerusalem. And so there were a lot of Jews that lived in Lithuania, and they just killed them all or chased them out. I have this buddy that was in the military, and he was over in Iraq, and he talked about to me one day about he goes, man, Brian, I know your wife is Lithuanian. And he goes, I fought with some Lithuanian guys over in Iraq. He's like, they are crazy sons of a guns. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, these guys, he goes, they have zero fear. He said they would get on a motorcycle. He said, and we would have to scout the area. And he goes, and we don't want to go in until we know that we've got like sniping spots and some areas cleared out. He said, so we would send these Lithuanians in. He said, and they would go on a motorcycle, and they would sit on the motorcycle back to back. And each guy had firearms, you know, machine guns. He said they would go in there when these motorcycles, usually 3 motorcycles at a time, 6 guys, 2 on each motorcycle. He said, and they would clear the entire city for us. He said, we would go in there and it would be no issues whatsoever. And he said, and these Lithuanians always came back out alive. And I'm like, yeah, that's a crazy story right there, bro. I don't know. You know, I tell you, my uncle used to say a crazy story about Vietnam. He used to tell a he told it to everybody he could tell. He said one day they were training before they went to Vietnam. And he said, and they'd all taken the missions of, they were now picked out that they were going to be going and getting the MIAs out. He said, so they were going to go back on tour and go get the MIAs out. And he said, and they're picking the people that they're going to be part of. And he said, one day we're sitting out at this fire. And he said, it's out in the middle of nowhere. And we're in the fire. And it's our training grounds. And he said, we know we're safe. He said, and we're each talking about why we were handpicked for this missions. And he said, and we each go around and tell our stories. He said, and we get to this Indian. He said, and this Indian tells us this story. He said, he tells us, I can see and hear things that you guys can't. And he goes, and we're laughing and we're teasing him. And this Indian says, for example, there's a 6-point buck. And he's sitting out here about 150 yards out, and he's watching us. And he knows we're here, and he's just keeping his distance. And these guys are laughing at him, going, whatever, dude. I can make up shit too. And this Indian tells him, well, you don't believe me? Okay, I'll be right back. And it's pitch dark except for their fire. And my uncle tells me he disappears, and we're all kind of talking to each other going, this guy's going to kind of sneak up on us and scare the shit out of us. He's such a dick, you know, blah, 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 blah. He said, next thing you know, we hear a thunk, bonk. And he goes, and we're like going, whoa, what was that? He goes, here comes this Indian dragging this 6-point buck to the fire. And we're like, what the fudge? And the Indian tells us. I snuck up on him, bonked him right in the middle of the freaking forehead. Here he is. They're like, is he dead? And they're like, Indian's like, no, he's not dead. He's like, I just knocked him out. Here he is. And my uncle said, from that moment on, I told that Indian, you are on my team. I want to fight with you. You are with me. He said we would send this Indian in to scout these camps. And he goes, and we always go in one way and out another way. And he said, and this Indian would go in there and he would bring us back pictures that we didn't know what the fudge are we looking at. And the Indian would explain to us, I'm not outside the camp. I'm in the camp. And he's like, this guy was just the most amazing Indian ever. He said he was just great. I don't know if he lived, I never asked, but it was just like, wow. And you never know. Are stories true? Are they just stories? Because that's what stories are. Did you embellish it? I have no idea. As a little boy, I just remember sitting there with my grandpa listening to these stories.
that my uncle would tell, and I always was like, amazing stuff. Let's see what we can get done. What are we doing here? Slay enemies to locate the beacon. Gotcha. Here, beacon, beacon, beacon. Where are you? These things, they pop up right behind you. They hurt. Okay. He's gonna pop up right behind, this time in front of me. I hear a lot of arrows shooting at me. I'm not feeling them, but I'm hearing them. I usually don't stream on the weekends, guys. I usually, well, I shouldn't say that. It's not on my schedule to stream on the weekends. I usually stream anyway, just because it's the weekend. I stream every day at 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. But I usually do try to get a stream in on Saturdays. I am Eastern time, yep. Yeah, normally I'm 10 a.m. I start till, and I usually stream till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, sometimes 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I do stream most Saturdays, honestly, even though it's not on my schedule, I do. Sundays, not so much. Sundays I take off and I do stuff around the house, and, you know, lawn work and all that good fun stuff. Yeah, I've got a lot of people that watch me during their work, to be honest with you. I got a lot of them, you know, and that's why I do a Saturday stream too, is because a lot of people have told me, hey man, can you stream on the weekend? I want to be able to watch you, and I can't at work. And so I do try to stream every Saturday. It's just that I usually don't do as long as a stream as I normally do on the weekends on Saturday. Normally I'm streaming for 6-7 hours. On Saturday I'm lucky to do 3-4 hour stream. And it used to be the exact opposite. When I wasn't retired, I did all of my streaming on the weekends, and I still streamed during the week, but it was only a couple hours a day after I got off work. No cell phone, no data air. Yeah, because you're working in the government. That's, and I know that job. I know. That's what my uncle went through, and yeah. They don't want their sensitive secrets to be let out. So yeah, I definitely relate. I used to have to go get clearances to go into certain areas to work on their EV chargers. You know, it was, and they would take my cell phone away from me. They would take everything away from me. They would tell me no pictures. They would open up my car and check everything. And oh yeah, high secure areas. Especially down here by when you get close to the Cape Canaveral Space Center. We got a lot of EV chargers there. A lot. And that's a big no-no area to walk in there with cell phones and all kinds of stuff they would take away. Pensacola, yeah, that area too, yep. Yep, there's a lot of areas like that, to be honest. Barry, thank you for the like, bro. Good to see you, man. Haven't seen you for a while. Hope you're doing well. I know you said your wife was going through some stuff, Barry. I hope she's doing better. Probably gonna have to get off of here fairly soon. It's past noon now here. Warrior Boots, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Oh, what is hurting me over here? Something's hurting me. What was that? Boy, it was poisoned. Oh, I was poisoned. Well, we already completed it, so it doesn't matter, but gosh, I didn't even notice. I wasn't looking. I was watching my chat. I got a lot of screens here going on, guys. I got Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, all at the same time. So
Yes.
people always ask me, how come you don't do a hardcore character? Well, that's why. Because when I look at the chat screen, I die. Okay.
Take care.
So let's go over here. And where am I going? Let's go to the observatory real fast. I haven't watched playing at all. Good. I'm glad Vicious won. That's why I like doing it, to be honest with you. I meet so many, and that's, to use the word meet is wrong, but you know, I make a lot of acquaintances that's really cool to know. And some of them, you know, live close, some don't. But yeah, that's the whole reason why I do this. I absolutely love meeting the different people. And what game are you playing? Oh, same game. Okay. I really like this game. I'm really, 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 really impressed with how well they've done with this game. And I can see where they've learned. They've learned a lot from other people. All right, well, I think we're just going to save the rest of that. Okay, well, I have to go, everybody. I do. I have to get off of here. But this was such a blast. I had so much fun. I really did enjoy it. I appreciate all of you. And I don't know if we'll be back tomorrow or not yet. I just checked the lawn this morning, and it doesn't look like it needs to be cut again or any of that crap. So I may do a stream tomorrow, but I don't know the time or anything. But I want you all to be safe. And as I always say, please, yes, have notifications on, you'll know. And please be kind. That's all I have. I end every stream saying that. Please be kind. It's so easy to be kind. I just think it takes a lot of work to be a vicious, mean guy. Notice I said vicious one is your name. But I think that it takes a lot of work to be mean, and we don't need to be. So let's all be kind to each other